MetaZoo teased us with the pack arts for native last week, but the real question is, do you know who all 4 Beasties are? Welcome back to Cryptid Theory, where we try to use the folklore and the MetaZoo cards themselves to figure out the storyline and lore of MetaZoo proper. My name is Turmentic, and today we are going to talk about the 4 pack arts that are for native, the next set coming out in April for MetaZoo games. And 2 of them we already do know. They already released Atabey, and we knew Wendigo from before, but the other 2 on the ends, the right and the left, those are the ones that we had to figure out. So let's jump right in and start talking about them. Now, this first one, I want to do a shout out to Big Boy Meta over on Instagram. He's the one that turned me on to this one right here, and after doing some research, I think he was completely correct, so thank you again. The first one we're going to talk about is Akialaboba. Now, Akialaboba, also known as Akialatopa, is a huge bird god of the Pueblo people. He's described as being an enormous size and having a rainbow-colored feathers as sharp as knives. He's considered a celestial creature and is sometimes attributed to the whole of creation. Akialaboba is considered a god of sky. Only one story says anything really negative about him. Basically, it says that if you do not respect him, he will flap his wings and harm you. Saying that, though, he is known to be good and rule in kindness, according to the Pueblo people. Some believe Akialaboba to just be another name for a thunderbird if you actually just translate it. But with the appearance being so different from the actual thunderbird itself, it is also theorized that the thunderbird is a representation of the storm itself, all the thunder, the lightning, the rain, whereas Akialaboba could be the representation of the calm after the storm has already passed. I definitely want to look further into Akialaboba and see exactly how Akialaboba is tied to the story of creation, and I might turn that into another Sam's Legendary Collection video. But moving on, let's get to the second one. Now, the second one we already know the name of, and I briefly talked about it when I went over the native teases. I'll link that video below in the description if you want to go and actually check out all the other ones. But this is Atabey. Atabey is an ancestral mother of the Taino, and one of the 2 supreme ancestral spirits in the Taino religion. She is worshipped as a Zemi. Now again, a Zemi is an embodiment of nature and ancestral spirit of freshwater and fertility. She is not a goddess. That was how the colonials described her in colonial terms, to pretty much, in essence, replace the Taino verbiage and culture. So she is not a goddess, she is a Zemi. That is very important to basically the Taino people. Now, she is the female entity who represents the earth spirit and the spirit of all horizontal water, lakes, streams, the sea, and the marine tides. She is one of the most important spirits for the native tribes that lived in the Caribbean islands. The Taino women would pray to Atabey to ensure the safe childbirth for their children. Atabey defines prime matter and all that is tangible or material, and has a few manifestations. The one we're just talking about was the nurturing maternal figure. Kaguana is the spirit of love. Guabankex, on the other hand, is the violent wild mother of storms, volcanoes, and earthquakes. And again, I tried to actually look up how to phonetically say these, so if I'm mispronouncing them, I apologize. Please leave a comment down below and let me know exactly how to pronounce these names. Atabey also conceived twin sons without intercourse, the first one being Yukahu. He is the masculine spirit of fertility and the supreme Zemi, meaning he reigns over all Zemis. He's probably the most famous, most known Zemi, if you will. The second son was Guakar, and he became jealous of what his mother and brother were creating, and he turned to evil, trying to destroy everything the 2 of them had created. Now again, I'm probably going to end up doing a legendary collection on Atabey just because the story is pretty interesting, so I will definitely make sure to post that as soon as I get that done. Now, the next beastie we're going to talk about, it is Wendigo. Wendigo is a supernatural creature for the Algonquin-speaking tribes in North America. Described as a powerful monster that has the desire to kill and eat their victims. Most legends state that a human turns into this creature because of their greed or weakness. Various traditions consider Wendigos dangerous because of their thirst for blood and their ability to infect healthy people or communities with evil. They mostly prey on the weak and the socially disconnected as well. Now, something that I found that I thought was really interesting in regards to Wendigo is that humans are always the ones that transform into Wendigos. They don't just appear. It's always a human that transforms into one. Usually corruption by greed is what causes them to transform, but it also can be a weakness by conditions, such as hunger or being cold. Another version of how Wendigo comes to form is when a prowling spirit possesses a human during a moment of weakness. And again, a moment of weakness would be extreme hunger, extreme hot or cold, things of that nature. So they're weakened spiritually, if you will, and so that spirit is able to go in and possess them. Now, Wendigos are kind of terrifying. I was looking at some of their abilities. They have a superhuman strength and stamina that allows them to stalk, overpower, and consume their prey. They have exceptional eyesight, hearing, and a sense of smell. They can move with the speed of wind, and this is something that I didn't know until I started looking this up. They have the ability to walk across deep snow and even over open water without sinking. So imagine this huge big creature, you're running away from it, you jump over a cliff into a river and you swim over to the other side, and then all of a sudden this creature just casually starts walking over the water to come and get you. I didn't know that about Wendigo. That is terrifying to me. Now, the last one is one that I'm actually kind of interested about. I'll be honest, I couldn't find much information about it, but I did make some connections with previous Metazoo lore with this guy. And this one is Alanak. Alanak is an Inuit god of the moon and weather. He is responsible for the day-to-day manifestations of earthquakes, comets, and eclipses. He also sets the waves in motion and controls the gravitational pull, the tides of the ocean. He is responsible for also returning souls after reincarnation. But this is where it gets a little interesting. While I was actually looking up information for Alanak, I came across a YouTube channel and I started watching this video. And I saw for like the third or fourth time this image. And this image has 32 feathers around it. And I was like, I know this. I've seen this image before. And in my research for the Solomon video, I came across this image of the 72 alignments, like planetary celestial alignments. And this video made me realize that the 72 planetary alignments also coincide with the 72 seals from Solomon's spellbook. So there's some sort of a connection between Alanak and Solomon. I'm not entirely sure. I need to do some more research and actually try to figure out what exactly that is. But it was just, it blew my mind, honestly, when I first found it, because again, that goes all the way back to chapter 2 of the comic, when you actually have the image of Solomon's spellbook, the seal to prevent somebody from stealing something. And we're seeing connections with Inuit mythology that somehow connect to Solomon, who existed across the ocean a couple hundred years different. Like, there's something really interesting going on, and I need to do some more digging to figure it out. So, to recap, the 4-pack arts, I think I know exactly who those 4 beasties are. The first one would be Akiela Boba, the next one would be Atabey, then you have Wendigo, and then the last one is Alanak. Now, it's interesting because the 4 tribes that those 4 deity beasties actually represent are the Pueblo for Akiela Boba, the Taino for Atabey, Algonquin for Wendigo, and Inuit for Alanak. So that tells me that those 3 other pack arts are actually Pueblo, Algonquin, and Inuit. Because we already know from the Discord the other day when they announced that the pack art behind Wendigo is Taino clay, very similar to the one booster box that we saw of Pysaw Bird with the Taino clay as that medium as well too. So not only do I feel like we figured out what 4 beasties are represented on the pack arts, but we also figured out what 4 tribes are represented with the artwork behind those beasties as well. Like always though, I'll leave all of the links to all the research I did in the description below. Please feel free to go and try to find out more if you can, especially about Alanak. I'm really excited to try to figure out more about that specific one. But my name is Turmentic. I hope this actually helped you figure out a little bit more info about the native upcoming release. I'm really excited about this release. I'm really impressed with how much lore, specifically the different native tribe lore that they're including in this set, and I can't tell you how excited I am to actually finally see some more teases and actually figure out some more of how this ties into the Metazoo story overall. But like I said, my name is Turmentic. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you like the Metazoo story. I do deep dives into the lore, into theories, all sorts of stuff, so definitely come join us. It is a crazy, crazy wild ride, and I love this story. But as always, I hope you have a wonderful day.